What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. This is Weekend Update, the series where I talk about what's going on in my life, gaming and otherwise. So the video you're watching is Titanfall. I am having an absolute blast with Titanfall still. So this is the Xbox One version. You may have seen last week a video comparing the Xbox 360 version and the Xbox One version. And while I think the Xbox 360 version is a great version of the game, if you have both, really the Xbox One version graphically is superior enough that you want to play that version. And I'm having a great time. I do have one caveat about that, is I do have a SCUF controller for my Xbox 360, but I haven't picked one up for the Xbox One yet. And having those paddles on the back of the controller makes a huge difference in Titanfall. I think even more so than it does in Call of Duty, because the parkour aspect, jumping around, with that paddle allows you to do that and still be aiming and steering, and it makes the parkour aspect a lot easier, a lot more fluid, and a lot more fun. So that's really reinforced my desire to get a SCUF One controller for my Xbox One. That probably won't happen till after the wedding, just because funds are so tight while we're paying for, you know, photographers and florists and cakes and makeup appointments and all of that stuff. So after the wedding, that's kind of like a joke around the house right now. ATW is after the wedding. Every time we think about something that we need or something that we want, the other person just says ATW. So the SCUF One controller, I think, is going to make a great big difference for Titanfall. If you haven't used a SCUF controller, I really recommend them. I think they're great controllers. They really improve upon both the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One design. Well, I haven't used the Xbox One, but I'm assuming because I have so much experience with the SCUF 360 controller. And I'm really looking forward to get one. If you haven't tried one out, they are fairly expensive. They really start around $100, $120, which is a lot of money for a controller. But if you think about it, you're going to have this controller for a few years, so, you know, it's expensive, but it kind of pays for itself after a while, and they are really good controllers, and having those paddles on the back really does make a big difference. I have been doing a lot of thinking about PC games lately. Now, if you watched the Beastly Thoughts show last night, you might have heard me rant a little bit about Windows, and that is a real concern of mine. I really don't like Windows. I especially don't like Windows 8. However, the PC gaming scene has been getting more and more interesting to me. The Oculus Rift, I know that there's a lot of people upset that Facebook bought Oculus Rift, but it still looks like a really interesting technology that I really want to get my hands on. There is kind of an equivalent for the PlayStation 4, but I think that the Oculus Rift has a little more promise, so I'm really looking forward to it. And one of the things that I want to get to do is to play some of these more kind of obscure games. You know, DayZ is something that I would like to play. However, it is a PC exclusive. I can't play it on my Macintosh. I can't play it on any of my consoles. And that's something that really interests me. So there's kind of this there's this pull toward PCs. What I don't want to get into is this kind of constant upgrade cycle of building a PC and all that. I also am not that super interested in buying like a custom PC, like from one of those vendors that, you know, builds these really expensive PCs with the best video cards and all that stuff built in. So I'm not real sure what route I'm going to take yet either. But I've got a little time to decide because I'm getting married. Basically, every dime that I can scrounge goes toward paying for that wedding, be it flowers, be it DJ, be it cakes, be it cake cutting fees. You know, whatever it is, all the money goes toward that. So really, nothing's going to happen until after the wedding. And that's just how it is around here right now. Once we get that all finished, things will kind of relax a little bit around here. I'll have a little bit more money to devote to the YouTube channel, which I think sorely needs it. I'd like to have a better PC so I could render videos faster, and that would help me do a few things, right? If I can render faster, if I see a mistake after I render, instead of making a decision, do I want to spend another hour and a half rendering this video, and fix it and spend that hour and a half rendering the video? Do I want to just upload it and maybe comment about the mistake I made in the comment section or in the description of the video? If I had a faster PC, that decision would be much easier. Do I want to fix the video and spend 3 minutes rendering? You know, that's a whole different conversation that I have in my head. So really, one of the things I'm really looking forward to is getting a faster PC. So I've also been playing with the Beastly Thoughts crew. So we got together on Saturday for about 2 hours. Only played Call of Duty Ghosts, which is not going to be the format for that kind of show going forward, but to get going, we played a little Call of Duty Ghosts. We played some team deathmatch. It was initially just me, Beastly Gamer, and COD Player, and we had a really great time. Today, I uploaded the first video out of that series. So when I do these, I'm gonna pick out some of my favorite moments or favorite gameplays and upload those for you guys to enjoy. We had a great time doing it, right? We had a great time recording it. As you guys know, we have really good chemistry from the Beastly Thoughts show, so getting us into a game and yelling at each other and kind of making fun of each other, that was a lot of fun. So the first video that I uploaded today is really just one gameplay. It's one Call of Duty gameplay where we kind of have like a start point and an end point, and one conversation kind of goes out throughout the middle of the game, and we have a bunch of fun. The second video I'm going to upload is going to be more of a, not a montage, but kind of like a bunch of smaller clips kind of pushed together, and hopefully they'll form kind of a story of a conversation that we had throughout like a few games. It's pretty funny stuff. I really enjoyed COD Player in Call of Duty Ghosts. I thought he was hilarious. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy that video too. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is tell me what you guys prefer. Do you prefer the one gameplay version of that series, or do you prefer a version of that series where it's a bunch of smaller clips that are a little tighter, a little funnier, and there's not so much gameplay in between them where maybe nothing's happening? So I'll upload both of those, and I'll let you guys decide which you prefer. Maybe it might come down to what kind of the content in the game we're playing really demands, right? If the content is a little bit slower paced and it's really all about what the conversation is during the game, it may just be that kind of like smaller clips put together just makes more sense. If it's a really big action-packed game, then it might be that it's just best to upload a full hour of gameplay and let it sit on its own. So I'll let you guys decide. I'll also kind of make a decision based on what the game is and how that works out. So in other Beastly Thoughts news, I've been really excited about the show. I know I talk about this every week, but it's actually one of the things I'm most excited about. I've talked about before how I don't have a lot of people in my life that play video games. So this has actually been one of the first experiences I've had where I have a group of people to share this passion with, and I think it's great. I really love the guys that we have on that show right now. 9 to 5 Gamers, Not Too Nerdy, COD Player, the Beastly Gamer. I love all those guys. I'm really having a blast. Last night we had Unreal Gamer on, and I really like having him on. I really like all the guys that have only showed up for a couple episodes too. Connie has only come for a couple of episodes, but she's really added to the show. I think she adds a different perspective than kind of all the dudes that are on the show, and I think that's a really fun thing. And I'm really excited to see where that's going to progress to. One of the things I'd like to add to that show, and actually Not Too Nerdy and me had a couple of really brief conversations about how to improve the show. He was talking about kind of adding some kind of video aspect to the show where we get to, like, if we're talking about a certain news article, we'd actually show that on the screen. I thought that was a great idea. It wasn't something that I had really thought about before, but as soon as he said it, I knew he was right, so we'll probably be doing that. Also, I want to get a sound mixing board so that I can produce the show a little bit better. Maybe have kind of 2 different machines going so that you don't have to just watch the straight up Google Hangout. You can watch with, a little bit more flair. I think that would add something to the show. Not Too Nerdy was also talking about maybe doing a website where everybody could kind of contribute to the website. The show would be featured there, and I thought that was a great idea too. So there's all sorts of ideas that are going through our heads for that show. And if you guys have ideas for that show, definitely share them down in the comments of this video or one of the Beastly Thoughts show comment sections, because we're definitely reading those. We're definitely taking them into account. Just because we don't respond to every single one of them doesn't mean we didn't read it. Doesn't mean we're not thinking about it, okay? Google Plus is still a bit of a mess. A lot of times, the comment that I want to respond to the most, I just can't. Like, the option to do it just isn't there. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why. So don't take our lack of response to mean that we didn't read it or it wasn't a good idea. We're still dealing with the fallout from the Google Plus merger with YouTube. So I alluded to this earlier, but I have been really busy with the wedding planning. We've got a lot going on. We have appointments almost every night, and it has definitely impacted the channel. Now, the reason that there has been less content uploaded to the channel is not due to lack of passion or lack of eagerness or lack of ideas. It's just a lack of time. My wedding is going to happen in May, and after that we're going for a week-long honeymoon, and then after that it should come back to kind of regular scheduled programming, stuff that you've been more accustomed to over the last year or so. Daily uploads, maybe even a couple uploads, maybe a let's play that kind of goes throughout like a month while regular uploads are happening. But I wanted to kind of apologize for the slowdown in video content. Thanks for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. It's just been like crazy busy around here, and it's not due to a lack of passion, like I said, or a lack of ideas. It's really just a lack of time. So thank you again for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you got any ideas or any questions for me, leave them down in the comment section. This is the format. If you got questions for BriarRabbit, if you got questions for me, leave them in the comment section of this video, and I will answer them in the next weekend update I do, which theoretically should happen on Fridays, but for the last 2 weeks it says happen on Monday. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.